Hello and welcome to the first episode of Generic Tool Reviews. This is a new series on my channel where I make generic reviews about generic tools. For our first example here, we have the Central Machinery 5-speed bench drill press. So this is a drill press which I had purchased and have been using for about 2 years. This model is the most inexpensive model which can be purchased from Harbor Freight Tools. To buy it, it usually costs around $70, though you can easily get it on sale for about $60. This drill press is pretty cheap, and in doing so, the specifications do leave much to be desired. The spindle speed goes from 760 to 3070 rotations per minute. The table can tilt 45 degrees left or right. The chuck can accept drill bits from 1/16 of an inch to up to half an inch. And the spindle stroke maxes out at 2 inches. Up at the top of the drill, you can find the pulleys which control the drill speed. By changing the pulleys, you can select one of the 5 given speeds. But for the purposes which I use this drill for, which includes cutting metal most of the time, I usually keep the drill on the lowest speed. And I have kept it on the lowest speed ever since I have got this drill. So in order to change the speed on this drill press, you must move the belt up one of the pulleys to make it go faster. And in order to change the speed of the drill, you must unscrew one of the mountings from the motor so the motor can spin freely and bend towards the shaft of the drill press. So now I have adjusted the drill press to move at its medium speed, which is 1630 rotations per minute. One interesting feature of this drill press is the inclusion of a light. Rather than an LED light, this is simply an old incandescent style light. And being so of this design, it is not very bright. I guess this light can be used to illuminate a workpiece, but I really wouldn't see why you would bother with this light when you could just use your normal shop lights. Or at least replace this light with an LED light. This drill press features an adjustable table height, but the table is secured into place by clamping the table against the shaft of the drill rather than there being a rack and pinion setup which is found on larger and more expensive drill models. I would not recommend this drill if you are doing work which requires precision machinery, but this drill does in fact work, and as shown in the introduction of this video, I can easily drill through a piece of wood with it. This drill bit, which is inside of this drill right now, is a 1/4 inch drill bit. This is usually the largest which I go up to on this drill, though I have been able to drill up to 3/8 of an inch before, but in pieces of steel like this one, I usually only go up to 1/4 of an inch. You could see this is a piece of steel which I have drilled out using this drill press. As is visible here, this drill is fully able to drill a 1/4 inch hole through an 1/8 inch thick piece of mild steel without the need of a pilot hole or slowing down to a lower speed section which would deliver higher torque. This hole looks pretty clean, and I would say it's rather satisfactory for what this drill press can offer. On pieces of wood, however, it does drill a fairly straight hole, and that is pretty good for a piece of wood or a piece of steel or plastic. So if you want to drill a straight hole and you want to have that ability for $50, then I would highly recommend getting this drill. I use this drill press for pretty much all of my projects which require any sort of straight holes or demand any kind of accuracy. However, a drill press does not replace a hand drill simply because one of these cordless drills is pretty easy to use. You can use it wherever in tight corners, and you don't have to disassemble whatever you're building, which you may have to do while using a drill press such as this. You could see that the table size of this drill press is in fact pretty small. You can't really clamp anything much to it. As shown before, I use these clamps. These are pretty small clamps and they are not very strong. Ideally for a drill press, you would use a vise such as this one over here. But this vise is simply too big to fit onto this mounting table. And it does not in fact help that this drill press does not lock very securely in position with the table. Right now it's pretty secure, I guess, but even if it's a little bit off, then it just falls to the ground. And while drilling, this may in fact shake around a lot, but it does not really impede the usability of this drill. I would still recommend to get this drill if you only have that amount of money to spend on it. Of course, if you spend at least $100, you can upgrade to one of the better units that is offered. And those ones, they have more features, they're bigger, they can drill deeper holes, they are faster, they have more torque, and they have larger tables. But it doesn't really offer anything to the hobbyist who would probably get as much usability as anyone would with this drill. Unless you're some kind of machinist or something, there really is no point to get a better, more fancy drill. Even how I use it quite frequently on pieces of solid steel, and it does usually work pretty fine. It only gets stuck when I'm drilling holes up to 3/8 of an inch in solid steel. That's when it comes to a struggle, and it would just stop. But usually this drill press is more than enough for anything that I have to use for it. So concluding this first episode, I would recommend you buy this drill if you cannot afford any other better drill. And it really depends on what you're using it for as well too. This drill is perfect if you just want a drill press to just drill straight holes in whichever material you need to. It is nothing special. It's not particularly the most accurate thing. It's not particularly the most high torque. It's not particularly the most fastest or the strongest in any kind of way. And it is rather small. It fits onto a desk or workbench. You can see right here that this drill drills a hole about as deep as the price you pay for it. And you might think that that's a stupid joke, but it is in fact true. You can get this drill for $50 and it can drill up to 50 centimeters. So there you go.